GM.
GM.
Spam, I don't even recognize you without the chain.
Oh shit. There we are.
There he is.
Almost forgot it.
Are we live?
Yeah, we live.
All right. How was everyone's weekend?
I went to the beach and I checked my phone and I realized that every single meme in the AVAX trenches was running, and I got a little bit of FOMO, but
Yep. I was basically away for a wedding. Didn't even look at my phone for like 24 hours. Came back and I was like, what the fuck? Everything's blowing up right now.
yeah, it's pretty crazy, honestly.
All right, let's get into it. So, where are we up to with Bitcoin? So last week I said that we finally broke out of this trending channel that we've been trending in since 75K, all the way up to new all-time highs of 112K. We finally made a move down on Friday, down to 100.5, but then we bounced back over the weekend like crazy. My view is that this move up here, this bounce, is very impulsive. It probably means that we are not going to get the deep correction down to like, low 90s or high 80s that people are expecting to. I have a feeling that the local lows in still make a pullback, probably down to like, anywhere from here all the way down to 101K. But that could be it. I think 100.5 might be the bottom, guys. I have a feeling that, this move is very, very bullish, and really you should just be focused on getting long on the next pullback. Otherwise, you might miss out on like a generational bull run. That's kind of my take right now. If we go into order flow side of things, nothing too concerning. I do think locally we do have some CVD bearish divergence. You can see here that right now we are struggling a little bit at 108K, while CVD makes a move higher. If we come here to Velo, you can see that this move here was marked by a huge increase in OI. On its own, it's not a bad thing. It's actually because it means there's a lot of volume on this move. This is a $2 billion move, but I do expect it looks like price is now starting to stagnate around 108K, and I definitely would not be long here, but I do expect us to make a pullback sometime soon. Also, we just hit a big level, the monthly NPOC of 107.5. But honestly, I think this can go all the way up to like 110K before it makes a pullback. But definitely, I think the mood for this week is look for a pullback to get long, because second half of June, I'm expecting things to continue and make new all-time highs. So in short, not expecting, don't get bear hold, guys. I know that macro is sometimes scary. There's no rate cuts. There's like a World War III coming, but honestly, things are actually looking very, very bullish. That's my TLDR.
Yeah, I think things really turned around over the last few days, like from that big dump off when Elon and Trump were fighting. Like, if there was not the reaction that we got, then I think things would have looked pretty dire. But the Bulls fought back.
The Bulls turned up. I mean, look at the order books right now. Like, I think when we got to 105K, people were expecting us to make a lower high, but someone has just been supporting price in Binance, like all these bids, typical, like, impulsive, a lot of bids push the price up. Right now we don't have much resistance, 108K, but after that, it's like it looks like we're due for new all-time highs. Let's look at alts, because I think alts are interesting. So Ethereum, honestly, I was worried, but the fact that it's stayed in this range for this long, whilst underneath this like massive, 2.5, 2850 resistance, is failing to break down. This to me probably, I think we're due for a move up soon, honestly. Like I would be definitely getting long on a lot of things this week on the next pullback. Are there any alts that anyone wants me to look at? Or should we just get into like the arena shitters that everyone's talking about?
I'm looking at my charts. I had a few. I think hype right now looks interesting. It looked like it was showing weakness the last time we had a stream, and now it looks like it might be breaking out of a bull flag of sorts.
Yeah, it just looks like a triangle, right? Looks like it just broke out of a triangle. It's like 1, 2, 3. I think it could still make one more move down, but it looks very bullish. Like it failed to break down. Oh, sorry. If we do that, for example, looks like a triangle formation.
Yeah.
Like I think this looks very bullish.
If you can catch the support on that, then
I think most stuff, like let's say the meme coins like Pepe, for example, on the high time frames, like when you see this impulsive move up, this move here is impulsive, right? And then this move here is very corrective. So that's actually a good thing because it means that on the high time frames, we are still like impulsive. This is a standard correction, and we will probably like make a move up higher later, sooner or later. So honestly, I think with regards to BTC, for example, right? This move is very impulsive. I do expect a correction, okay? And in terms of where we correct, like it could be a deep one all the way down to 101K, or it could be like a shallow one down to say 105 or 104K. So long it doesn't go below this line of 103, then this move is still impulsive. And I'm expecting things to go higher. Probably, maybe this week or definitely next week. Like, I think the mood right now should be looking for longs, especially since stocks look very strong right now. Like SPX is over 6K. We're at this, we're almost at all-time highs. And NASDAQ is almost back over 22,000, which is amazing. It does get scary because there might be like still more resistance to go through, which is why I'm not advocating for like people to top last at 108K. But I would not. Yeah, I mean, let's say the worst case scenario, right? I think the worst case scenario is like we take longer to correct. Scenario, we do this, and it goes deeper. But I think on the high time frames, like we are still due higher. And the reason why I say this is because this move just looks very corrective. If this was the top, then we'd get a very strong impulsive move downwards, but we're not seeing that right now. All right, that's it for me, guys.
Cool. I don't have too much to share on my charts, but I'll pull mine up. This one we were looking at last week, and to be honest, I was pretty confident that we were going to be heading lower, but I was marking out these this level as being like the support level. And we had that scary little wick that came down below. Where would that go? 10% below this support level. Obviously, it's a meme coin, so 10% isn't the same on some other coins. But you had that big wick, came back up, and then you pretty clearly established support above this 90-cent level. And since then, it's just expanded back up. So you've already made a 20% move on Farcoin. So what you would want to see here is a move that will break above this wick high at 119. So we're getting close to that. And then from there, if it comes back down, hard to say exactly where it would come back down, but if it comes back down for a lower or a higher low, that is where you want to get long on this. And I think, Farcoin has been one of the better performers. It looked last week like it was about to really lose momentum, but it's rallied pretty impressively. So I think the same thing pretty much happened for Sui here. We pretty much saw it come down with this big wick and then very quickly turn around and come back up here to the 50 EMA, I believe. Yeah. So a lot of these stronger coins, Farcoin, Sui, they look like they're primed to go higher if Bitcoin wants to go higher. Similar outlook on ETH. I mean, your best entry on an ETH long would probably be somewhere down in the 2200 region, but I'm not super confident that you'll get that. I was kind of looking for a triangle approach for entry when we were up at this wick. It wicked down below it. So pretty much this big wick scared a lot of longs out of the market, I think. But it's respected this range it's in, and it's I mean, on the daily, if it closes where it is, I think this is probably getting prepared to make a move up, try to break these 2,800 resistance, and then probably send it to at least 3,000, if not 3,300. So I'll move.
I mean, I think the way to play it this week, right, is Monday range today for Bitcoin. It's a possibility that we might just go higher, which is honestly not impossible. But I'm betting on the fact that we'll probably see some correction. So Monday low is now 105.3. Monday high is just shy of 108K. If we do correct this week, then I expect price to go below 105.3. In that case, then I would just basically wait until the end of the week, like Sunday or Friday night, to start buying altcoins. Because honestly, I think with the way that we're moving up, like things look very bullish. So whatever ETH is at on Sunday, like for me, it's more time-based than price-based.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm starting to build a little bit of long exposure right now, but I'll be ready if it comes down. Yeah, I think pretty much every chart kind of looks the same right now. I wouldn't say alts look especially strong versus Bitcoin right now. Like I think Bitcoin's going to lead this move still. I will say USDT dominance is looking pretty good. We had this range that we had been pretty much trading within for the last month, essentially. Finally broke up above it, and then it got strongly rejected and has come back down. It's now below this level that had been acting as, the top of the range for the most part. We've already tested it on the 4-hour. So I think this one looks pretty pretty good for a move down. So if you are using this to kind of, watch your positions a little bit, I think if you make a move down to like the 4.57, 4.58, this kind of area, that's probably a good place to take some profits, and then you'll probably see another bounce up, and then this is where you'd really want to get long. So if there's a pullback, I think you'd kind of want to see probably a little bit more of a move down, come back up to close to where it is now, and then that's when you can really load up. But that's all I got on alts. Spam, did you want to talk about the arena stuff, or do you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, I can. I mean, we probably ripped a bit on it, but yeah, let me pull up. Not Nasta pulled out. Yeah, honestly, also bummed. I had like reunion this weekend, so missed all of those calls in the trenches. It was just devastating. All three of us just here every week, and we missed all the calls.
I know, crazy weekend. For real.
Also, but the good thing is like everyone in Discord has been catching all of them, which is nice to see.
Yeah, honestly, the trench channel.
Looking at the leaderboard is crazy.
Like Lambo, who caught Lambo? Let's see. Lambo was caught by Max Young from 402K all the way up to 22 million. That was a solid cook.
53x, 46x on farm, 33x on MIM. So, I mean, I know we're about to kind of dive into this, but is the Lambo thing like, I don't know who launched it, but isn't it the reason it's pumping is like Daniela is shilling it or something?
I think so, yeah.
He heard about it.
I think it was like a tweet about instead of a house, because house coin got big on Solana. Mm-hmm. It's like instead of a house, why don't you have a Lambo? So someone created Lambo. I think that's the lore behind it.
Yeah, I mean, this chart is crazy. Set some limit orders on LFJ if you're trying to get an entry on this. I mean, it's crazy to see charts like this on Avalanche, actually. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty wild, to be honest.
It does seem like right now, as opposed to like taking a look at the Solana trenches, like AVAX trenches seem a little bit more promising. A lot better hit rate. I've
kind of fine-tuned my filters for Solana that seem to find pretty quality ones that already are like established a bit. I've got 5 million volume, 2,000 holders. That's like the main ones. And then I try to find ones that are relatively new. But this rent one seems like it's picking up some steam. I actually saw this a couple hours ago and it's already doubled. The America Party from 2 days ago. That chart's a little wonky. I don't know about that one, but
yeah, a lot of big candles on that one.
But spotted this one. I mean, this was a crazy chart. I know you pulled this one up last week, but this was kill big, beautiful bill. And so it had its initial pump because Elon was talking a lot about it earlier in the week, dumped down. And then once the Elon Trump fight happened, it pulled basically a 900% move. Which is
some crazy tweets out of that little skirmish.
I know. I'm surprised it stopped after one day.
Yeah, I mean, just fully Elon saying like Trump is in the Epstein files is just crazy.
He said that?
I just saw like a screenshot of the tweet, and I'm like, oh, somebody photoshopped this, just trying to like stir up, and then you go to his profile, and it's actually there and real.
Jeez. So the bromance is over then.
It's over for sure.
It's over. Wow.
Or maybe it's just a little like toxic relationship, and within the next month they'll be right back at each other's sides. But right now, it definitely seems like trouble in paradise.
I feel like Trump isn't one for forgiveness. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's true.
So basically, Trump played Elon, right? Is that how it is?
I don't know. I
Because
don't.
Elon was a big factor why he won the election, wasn't it?
I mean,
Like his
Yeah,
popularity wasn't that great until Elon started supporting him.
I would say probably Elon's purchasing of Twitter and like all the changes he made to Twitter were probably a bigger influence than Elon himself. Because I don't think Elon's very likable, to be honest.
No, I
Um,
think Elon's very like people love Elon. Like people, there's like a whole cult behind Elon
I
and
think the
everything he
people who love
does.
Elon are the people who like got rich on Tesla.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know if
still, like there's
the
still a lot of like young
masses.
people who like look up to him as a role model for all he's done, like Tesla, SpaceX. You know, he's like the modern day Iron Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he definitely had an influence. I don't know if I would say Trump played him per se, but I think when the big thing, I don't know if this news like would have broken out of or broken into like crypto Twitter or whatever, but Elon like basically promised Trump he was going to go win them this Supreme Court race in Wisconsin, and he poured like a fuck ton of money into it and lost, and that was kind of the moment that their relationship kind of soured, because I guess Trump doesn't like losers, and yeah, I think ever since then, I mean, it's been like slowly pushing him out, and then I guess this was when it all blew up this past week.
yeah. I think specifically like with the bill, like there's obviously a lot of like spending based like legislation that was packed in there, and I think he was probably like claimed he was upset that it was like gross overspending, but probably more upset that it didn't really involve a lot of his like government contracts. That was probably like the thought in his mind of like handshake deal. I come help you with the election, help with like Twitter and stuff like that, and then you get to the government just buys like does contracts with like SpaceX and
So Elon didn't get any of that
increases.
then. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah. Like the bill was pretty devoid. Like there wasn't any additional like EV benefits that would help Tesla. I think he
Um,
also wanted to do a lot of like government contracting with Starlink and get that like
yeah,
infrastructure embedded for. I mean that would just like increase profits and like company value a ton if you just had locked in contracts and infrastructure set up with different government agencies. Yeah, unfortunately didn't get that. Now we get to experience all of the fighting and amusement from it.
It's gonna be interesting next couple weeks for sure. There's got to be more to it. That wasn't the end.
Yeah, both those guys really like being in the limelight and center of attention. So
I
it'll
feel
be
like
something.
with Elon though, like we actually sometimes you're like, is this real? Like you're hearing about it first time on Twitter. I remember what was it? Like there was that conservative influencer, Ashley St. Clair, like he impregnated her and then there was a news story that broke out how he like doesn't even take care of her, blah blah blah. And then they were having a conversation in real time on Twitter, and people were like, "Well, you don't talk to each other. Like this is the first time you're talking about this," and it turned out to be true. Just yeah, very weird.
Damn, I did not hear about any of that.
I remember he like slid into I think Tiffany Fong's DMs like trying to do a similar type thing. It's interesting. I mean, with that,
Yeah,
I think maybe not that in particular, but in general, wanting to be in the limelight, like that was how Tesla was able to like make it big. Was they didn't spend any money on advertising. They just had a CEO that was loving to be in the news, and that's how the message got out, and people started kind of finding out about Tesla and buying those cars. But at this point now, he's just so established that yeah, he's on his just like Tony Stark arc.
The crazy thing about his baby mamas is like I thought for the longest time that he was just shagging all of them and like impregnating them, right? It turns out he has 13 or 14 kids with different mothers, and all of them are through IVF. So he actually plans them with his like baby mamas,
That's
Absolutely
crazy.
insane.
which I think is like, whoa, okay.
The thing is like, I feel like the gig's got to be up because I could understand someone wanting to do it because their child would be connected to Elon and there's money there or whatever. But now it's like pretty clear based on a bunch of stuff that he doesn't treat them that well afterwards. So like, I don't know why you would want to father Elon's, or I guess mother Elon's child.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, back to crypto.
Yeah, back to the trenches.
Back to trenches.
Yeah, Mask has been doing pretty well, kind of consolidating around the current price level, current market cap, but definitely seems like it could be a decent runner. Has been like still keeping pace on Twitter.
My issue with AVAX runners right now is I don't know which one to buy anymore. There's like so many different ones, right? There's ID, there's Imini, there's like new ones every other day.
It doesn't feel like, even though there are some that have like a decently high market cap, it doesn't feel like there's like a true winner right now. Like that's usually kind of how the trenches goes. There's like a couple that are like very solidified. You feel like kind of safe that those will stick around for a while. But even, some of the ones that are like 10, 20 mil market cap, you're like, it doesn't have the same level of confidence that I think with some of the soul shitters you can have.
Spam, do you want to take over screen?
Yeah, I'll go through a couple of the other.
It would be nice to see, like right now, a lot of the shitters are very Avalanche themed, right? Like nostalgic stuff, GB, Mim, Frog Nation. I think the sign of like AVAX and Arena doing very well is when you see mainstream memes get launched in Arena and those ones do well.
Yeah, it's very like circle jerky, just like very internal to the AVAX community. But I mean, with
Yeah.
this one I guess also follows the same, but seems like it's very much themed around people bridging over to Avalanche to then kind of be included and participate in this little meme coin shitter cycle. And I think Stargate and there are a few others like put out tweets about like using their bridging to come over and be able to buy stuff. And honestly, timed up super well too with Soul now being tradable on Avalanche. I know there's a couple different incentives we have in the pools for providing liquidity there, but good way to get a lot of those people over and hopefully partaking and launching their own coins. But yeah, this is Bridge. This is one that was shouted out as being potentially a good runner. Only 18 hours old, which is pretty nice. Kind of seems like this is like the kind of average level it's sitting at. Not really sure if it's going to break up or down. I'd probably wait until like the next green candle to kind of tell you whether it's going to go up or dump back down. Which seems like a good meme, especially if like things keep going. Bridge bro bridge might just keep running. And then Magic Internet Money. I think we talked about this one last time. Kind of had a few different pumps and gone down. Holding a bit steady here. You can see some like crazy wild wicks up. Honestly, has a lot of people talking about it within the Avalanche community, which is always like a promising sign. But has sort of like stagnated, started like chopping down. But potentially could catch another one of these giant candles up. Which if you're buying here and you get one of those, it could be like was 3-4x at the minimum, which could be a nice little scalp. We can take another look at ID. This has been, I think this is the highest market cap one to come out of Arena at this point.
Yeah, ID is like solid right now.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that
32 million.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that could be kind of a long-term, like staple meme coin of this cycle for Avalanche. It's kind of had like a bunch of pumps go back down, then retrace right back up, kind of making higher lows and higher highs. All these coins seem to be at like a very similar like just holding pattern, where it's just waiting to decide if like the whole market's going to move up with them or if it's going to kind of all retrace back down. But ID has pretty decent number of holders, especially for Avalanche. Seems like pretty widely held and like distributed. So let's take a look at the holders. I think these two are both. I think these are both liquidity pools, but the rest of it's pretty decently distributed. Nice to see. And then I think Arena itself. I remember I saw some tweets about how the Arena token had like a pretty massive pump. Yeah, that's crazy volatility, but also just crazy channel upwards over.
Yep. It's like up only.
Yes. From June 7th. We'll go on a little bit of a longer time frame. But yeah, that's a crazy chart. Especially, I know a lot of people got from the initial Arena airdrop had like a good bag, and people now posting like how they've just like doubled or tripled. But yeah, we started. Let's go back like beginning of last week. 77
honestly
mil,
the amazing
success
story for Arena. Like everyone was shilling Friendtech, what was it, 2 years ago? And let's be honest, Friendtech was a piece of shit. It was an awful app. And Arena has actually built out a solid social platform.
Yeah, it had a lot of like better bells and whistles to it, and like I know there's the whole story of like initially it was kind of shitty, but then Jason took over and kind of revamped it, reworked it, and have a lot of people supporting it now. And pretty solid functionality. Not like Friendtech was just like kind of glitchy. Like you were just using it of like a significantly shittier Twitter or X. But this one actually seems like realistically competitive and actually usable. What's the other shitters to look at? I think that's the main ones from Avalanche. Yeah, those are the main 5. I don't know if there's any more you saw, Levi.
My specialty is buying coins below 100K market cap.
Gotta see if we can find any. Honestly, if you just hang out in the trench channel in LFJ, like you're gonna get all of the insights on what's launching, which is ideal, honestly.
Let me take a look at the Solana trenches. I think we're both sharing screen right now, Levi. There it is. So yeah, the 3 or 4 kind of runners. We'll take a look at Housecoin. Obviously not a true early trenches, a little over 2 months old, kind of talked about. But for a while, it has been like kind of had its big pump over in April, a little bit of action into May, and then it's kind of bleeding down. So like this chart doesn't look great, but kind of seems like it has bottomed out and started to make a move back up. Starting
I
to
think
get
it has
like
a strong
more
community though,
traction.
right? This one.
Yeah,
Also.
yeah, strong community that have been like, I think a lot of them went quiet in like the mid late May area. But I've seen a lot of the voices that were talking about it before, kind of hop back on the wave, and I think that's probably the cause of these recent green candles. I think if it kind of breaks this mark, it's kind of 35, 36 mil market cap, it could just be running back up. I mean, hopefully, you got to pray that you get another Ansem tweet, but kind of nice to see at least like organic shilling of it come back to the timeline for anyone that's bag holding.
Wait, I see a lot of people saying Solana trenches are dead. Is it dead? Like what's
It
our
is like, I think like the new coins have been like pretty dead, and it's kind of reverted back into. I'll take a look at Hosico. We're now, instead of like new coins really running, aside from like the Kill Bill and other like topical memes, it's been a lot of the older coins that kind of bled down, had like their big pump in maybe like April, and now, yeah, like this is like early May, and kind of bled down for a while. Now, kind of getting some green candles and having more of an upswing on their charts. So it might be time to just kind of look back and really just remember the coins that were big a few months ago, and kind of look and see which ones still have like decent traction and community, because I think those could start making moves up. And with those, it's always like, I think you get a little bit of the bias, but it also has that has been at these high market caps. So mentally, you can kind of justify that. Oh, it could definitely return there if the community kind of wakes back up and it becomes like a trend again. So definitely good upside potential. Whereas like I think the regular Solana trenches, it's kind of just getting something that's recently graduated, hoping it runs up to like the 1 or 2 mil mark, and then you can just kind of dump it before it just falls right back down. Bob was one I was looking at earlier that actually seems like, if you're looking for one of the short terms, like very new coins, and it's just father of Fartcoin, just memeing. Obviously, Fartcoin has been
father
like
of
kind of like
Fartcoin.
yeah, Fartcoin has kind of been like the risk on indicator. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's not promising when it's red candling when the chart's pulled up, but this kind of has been just like bouncing around in this level. So I mean, getting something at 300K that could potentially run up high if it gets more traction. I mean, 1.2K holders is pretty good for a coin that's only 4 hours old. So I could see this just kind of, whatever red candle it ends on, just shooting right back up, getting like a couple of these green candles that it had, I guess just like a couple hours ago. And I think the biggest one right now that's like, I guess not really a full meme coin. All right, again, since I've looked at it, started dumping, but Mixie. So we can take a look. This is kind of like a legitimate project. It's kind of like an AI gaming thing, but I think the biggest thing is it was like acquired by like a Nasdaq company, so Net Capital. So I think that's why we go back to the chart. Within this last day, it has like a pretty significant move up, and like this chart obviously shows little banana upwards, and now it's kind of retracing down because it was just highly bought. But yeah, when guys like Wall Street Bets are talking about it and kind of shilling it on the timeline, you kind of expect to see a good move up. and then obviously, yeah, if you go to the Wall Street bets tab, when it's breaking bombshell, and like I guess people trying to sell it that it went public, but yeah, just bought by a company that's tradable on the Nasdaq. So pretty interesting stuff. You know, is it just like a buzzword coin? I mean, we've yet to see, but it seems like it has like a legitimate team behind it that's making deals with other legitimate companies. So that's usually pretty promising to see. And yeah, aside from that,
Mount Doji says, take a look at Finance Coin. I think that's an AVAX coin, Arena coin.
I'm guessing, this one. Let's put it on a little bit. Yeah, only 14 hours old, has gotten up to 232, but 1.1K holders, which is pretty good. Yeah, it seems like it's at like a little bit of a bottoming out.
We can't see your screen, by the way. You're still on Twitter.
So yeah, 232K market cap, 1.1 holders. Kind of seems like it might have just like be bottoming out here. Seems like this was a decent level that's been holding, and it's kind of right back up there. Dipped down to 195 before, but it seems like it could have potential to go up, especially guys like Mount Doji are talking about it, and it's kind of getting in the AVAX ecosystem. This could kind of go, at least, I mean, at the worst case, just kind of pump right back up to the highs it hit before, especially with how a lot of these arena coins have been moving.
I think right now people are just making coins based on Daniele Sesto's tweets. So 16 minutes ago, he just tweeted steady lads deploying more capital. And then I think someone created an old, like a Luna coin. So like that just pumped just now.
I mean, it's got its own Twitter making memes, so that's at least bullish, as opposed to some of the coins that are just deployed with no formal stuff around it. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing, the Solana trenches. I mean, kind of briefly look at the Solana chart. That is not the right Solana. Let's put it back into price. I mean, it's holding steady. So they're all back up to 155. I mean, ideally, if there's just like a nice big pump, maybe back up to like the 170 level, we can see the Solana trenches heating up a bit. But kind of had like a pretty decent dip down. And I mean, yeah, Solana trenches are literally just correlated with the SOL price, and how if it's moving like pretty erratically, people either dip in and out of the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely quieter than before, but I don't think it's by any means dead. It's still pretty active, but definitely a lot less than before. The nice thing about arena trenches is like the stuff does not go to zero as quickly as some of the Solana runners.
Yeah, some of the Solana runners, you catch it at like 200K, could pump up to like 10 mil or something within a couple hours, and then you go to like take a shower, eat dinner, and come back, and it's at like 4K market cap, and you're like, what just happened? Whereas the AVAX ones, I think, a little bit better for the mental health of you. You can be confident that if you look away for like 10 minutes or like an hour, it's not going to be down 99%. I think we could Stop sharing screen. We can do the quick crypto minute. Give a little another clippable 30 seconds. So the LFJ quick crypto news. The Circle IPO happened on June 5th, and at this point in time, it's now up 400% from its debut price, and about almost half of the current market cap of the USD coin. Javier Milei was cleared of anti-corruption violations by an Argentina committee for his involvement in the Libra token, the scam coin we saw a few months back. And then Polymarket was announced as an official partner of X from the X account, which is another integration into the mainstream. Plasma had a $250 million ICO that is currently ongoing and actually filled up within the first 10 minutes. Then the stablecoin bill Genius is currently going through the House and the Senate at pretty high speeds to add some additional regulation that should help the stablecoin markets. And then Uber announced that it is exploring stablecoin integration within its platform, so you might soon be able to get your McDonald's and your Uber rides using USDC or USDT. And that's it for the crypto news.
Good stuff. Oh wait, sorry, Fish. I muted you.
What is Plasma? Because I see it a lot, and it just raised a lot of money.
Yeah, no one's really posting what it is. It's kind of, I think it's just like a stable coin like infrastructure. I guess that was the theme of today's news. It's just like stable coin related stuff, which honestly makes sense. Like I had one of the what's the trading like the NYSE but in Chicago.
The Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
Yeah.
CME.
So like, yeah, we had, when I was in college, one of the former like presidents or head of that was like doing a guest lecture kind of around crypto, and he was, I mean, obviously very different viewpoint coming from like, you know, he's like 60, 70 years old, but his most promising thing that he thought about crypto was like stablecoin infrastructure. So I think, yeah, seeing that, I think that's probably like a pretty prevailing view of a lot of outsiders that are within finance that don't really mesh with like the Ethereum, you know, kind of think of everything as like a wild west of coins. I think they do like stable coins and kind of like some of the promise that they can hold. Especially too with like the pseudo monopoly of like Visa and MasterCard of like the current payment rails, and like even just like the 2.5% that they charge on every transaction. You know, if that becomes like a 1 cent, you know, gas fee or something like that, like that's pretty significant in terms of, I mean, that's just like prices at stores could justifiably go down 2.5%. Not that they will, but there's at least more money that's not going to these payment rail providers.
Yeah, I mean, it's also nice to have, like, I do love the trenches and stuff, but it's nice to have some like real world use cases, you know?
I like trenches when I win.
Yeah.
And that's not very often, so sometimes I hate it.
Yeah.
People kind of just think it's gambling, and it kind of is, like a little bit more informed gambling. Like it's not as bad as just going and putting it all on black on the roulette wheel. There's some edge you can have and some evaluation you can use, and I think that's what a lot of people in our Discord are able to fish out. But yeah, if you're a true outsider and don't really know what's going on or how, you know, meme coins and the trenches work, it is just like kind of like a coin flip, and with, you know, tens of thousands of coins being deployed every day, it's a like a 400 sided coin that you have to land on one specific side to actually make the 10x, 100x profit that you're hoping to.
Well, I think that's a good thing about the LFJ Discord, right? We're trying to accommodate for all kinds of traders. Obviously, there's a lot of trenchers, like trench warriors, but we have guys who only trade majors, perps, etc. So, I think in crypto, you have to find the game that you're good at, right? Some people are good at trading majors only. Some people prefer yield farming on DeFi. Some people like buying shitters. I find buying shitters, like the edge here is just, first of all, you have to know where to look and be chronically online and also be very fast, which doesn't really apply well for guys who like buying majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and can't afford to stay online all the time.
Yeah, I mean, point proven with this weekend. All of us touched grass, and then we missed every runner.
Yep.
Like you have to decide if that's the game you want to play. Give up your weekend sometimes to make it, but
Yep.
All right, you guys want to call it there for today?
Yeah, let's call it here.
Cool. We'll see you guys on the next stream Thursday at I don't know UTC times anymore. I think it's at
I think it's 2 p.m. UTC, 14 UTC.
All right, well, we'll see you guys then. Let's fucking Joe.
Let's
All right,
fucking
let's
Joe.
fucking Joe, guys.